Okay, so nice comfortable seat. Morning, Haley. Sorry, I can't now hear you. I've just pressed mute. And morning, Net. I think you just came in too. But I can't hear you. Morning. Okay, so just in a nice comfortable seat, rest the hands on the knees, close the eyes, and just take a couple of shoulder rolls. Just kind of wriggle around in the shoulders, maybe roll around in the neck, and then just find stillness. Have a bit of a fidget through the seat bones. So root the seat bones a little bit deeper into your yoga mat. And then from that place of more depth, more secure seat, you're able to lift the spine a little bit taller. Drawing the shoulders back slightly so there's more opening across the chest, more space across the collarbones, and there's more room to breathe. Slow, deep breaths. Softness in the jaw and a softness around the eyes. So just notice if you're creasing around the eyes slightly, or if you're clenching through the jaw, try and soften that space. Relax into the back of the neck. Maybe bring the chin into the chest just a tiny little bit and feel the back of the neck open and lengthen. Also feel yourself lift a bit taller in the seat. And as we practice today, we're going to think about awareness of where we are in space. So how much we can use the space around us to enhance our practice. And just being really aware of how we move and where we move. Hopefully it'll help us really connect to the practice and help us stay present, help us stay focused, take our mind off whatever else is occupying too much space in our minds right now. We can come back to that later on, but just give ourselves or give yourselves the next hour to be as focused and as present as you can. With that, start to deepen the breath. Noticing not only the movement that brings into the chest, but also the movement that is happening around the shoulders. See if you can sense some movement into the back of the body as well. So imagine someone's gently placing their hands on your shoulder blade area, so on the upper back. And as you breathe in, can you slightly push the back of the body into their hands? So it's not a huge movement. You're trying to expand the rib cage all the way around. So it's not just expanding in the fronts or in the sides, but there's the little bit of lift and expansion to the back body as well. So it's like a 3D breath. It's going all the way around, moving in all vectors, all directions. Let the breath get a little bit longer, in through the nose and out through the nose. Quite a few times as well as we practice today, I'm going to give you the chance to close the eyes as you move, and it makes your balance so much harder. So if you do wobble around or you want to open the eyes and break away from that cue, then feel free to do so. Just listen to what your body needs as you move. And if anything doesn't feel right, then of course, as always, just rest or mix it up a little bit. Improvise where you have to. Keep the eyes closed, interlace the hands in prayer at heart center, and then push the heels of the hands away from you. So stretch the heels of the hands away, round through the spine, pull the chin into the chest. And then if you can, keep the eyes closed, resist the temptation to open them, lift the hands up to the sky, take a big breath in, open the chest, pull the shoulders back and down. Exhale, round through the spine, reach the hands out in front of you, curl through the back. And then inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, open the chest. Exhale, place the hands onto the knees. And then sometimes when we're in our cat-cow, we do those rotations through the spine. We're going to do the same thing here, but you're seated. So we're just going to roll all the way around through the spine whilst you're on the seat bones. So massaging around the seat bones and the base of the spine as well, really curling all the way around. So one seat bone might lift a little, just trying to bring some rotations all the way around. And again, you can close the eyes. Now you've seen what weird movement I'm doing. You know what to do yourself. You can close the eyes and work on that. Pull the navel in as you round. Take a big breath in as you come forwards. Next time you come forwards, I just want you to pause and hold it there. Maybe look up to the ceiling. And then exhale, start to go the other way. So it might just take you a moment to work that out. I know it's simple, but sometimes it does just take us a little moment. Make sure you're using the breath. So inhale brings you forwards. Exhale curls the spine round. One more big sweeping rotation. And exhale. Come forwards, pause at the top, inhale, open the chest. And then exhale, just bring the hands forwards, take the hands to the floor, step back to all fours. And then as we're already warm through the spine, tuck the toes and lift the hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. So stretch your heels away, give a bit of a pedal through the feet, walking on the spot. So just stretch the heels away. Maybe bend the knees and just see if you can take the belly towards the thighs and then try and straighten the legs. Bend the knees, belly towards the thighs and then straighten the legs. Once more, bend the knees, belly towards the thighs and straighten the legs. Look towards the hands, step the right foot forwards, rest the left knee down. Inhale, low lunge, reach the arms up to the sky, open through that left hip and just breathe here in. Let that left hip move a bit further forwards as you breathe out. Breathe in and out. In and out, just feeling how the hips are, whether they're tighter than normal or whether you can encourage a bit more movement. You can challenge yourself a little. And then let the hands fall down to the ground. Super simple, step it back into downward facing dog. And when you're ready, other side, so left foot between the hands. Right knee down, inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, move that right hip forwards. Inhale, let the chest lift. Exhale, move into that right hip. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor, step back into downward facing dog. Roll the spine forward, so all the way to your plank position. Knees to the floor, elbows bend, chest comes all the way down. Inhale, sweep the chest forwards, pull the shoulders back, baby cobra, strength through the backs of the shoulders. Exhale, lower the chest. Toes tuck, knees bend, travel back into downward facing dog. And this time, exactly the same simple flow. So a low lunge on each side, but you're going to close the eyes. So close the eyes now, push down through the hands, lift up through the hips with the eyes closed. Step the right foot forwards. You just feel that it steps far enough forwards. Trust that you have. Let the left knee rest down to the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Big breath in. And big breath out. Let that left hip move a little further forwards. Big breath in. And big breath out. Take two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take the hands down. Still with the eyes closed. Step back into downward facing dog. And left side. Left foot forwards. Rest the back knee down. And 5 breaths on this side. So breathe in to lift up. Breathe out to find that stretch. Breathe in to lift. Breathe out to move into that right thigh. Breathe in. And out. Just soften the shoulders so you don't need to squash the neck with the shoulders. 2 more breaths. Last one. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor. Step back into downward facing dog. Still, eyes closed. So feel the spine as you roll forward. See if you can curl through the upper back as you roll the body forwards into a plank position. Rest the knees down to the floor. Lower your chest all the way until you touch the ground. Inhale, point the toes, pull the shoulders back, open the chest forwards. Exhale, rest the chest back down to the floor. Tuck the toes, take it back into downward facing. 2 breaths in. Push the heels away, breath out. In. Push down into the hands, breath out. And then you can blinker the eyes open. Maybe rearrange where you are on the mat if you've drifted a little. Sweep the right leg up to the sky, breathe in. Lift that right heel high. So challenge yourself to lift that right heel a little higher than you think you can. Feel the stretch down the left leg. Try and push the left heel into the floor. Bring the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot all the way forwards, high lunge. So your back knee is going to stay lifted. Reach the arms up to the sky. So opening through that left thigh. Find that lunge position and then slightly soften the back knee. So not as stressful through the back leg. Little bit of a softness. And then if you like, you can close the eyes here as well. Notice how much more work goes on through the legs. Through the balance. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. If you're not closing the eyes, that's fine. Concentrate on drawing the waist in. So pulling the navel away from the right thigh. Holding your strength. Softening the shoulders, keeping the chest lifted. From your high lunge, open the eyes if they're closed. Reach the right arm forwards. Left arm back, warrior 2. So left toes turn out to the left side of the room. Bend into that right knee and reach the arms super wide. So stretch them as far apart as you can. And then legs don't move at all. Reach your upper body back. So stretch your left fingertips to the back of the room. So you'll reach the body back. And then come forwards. Now reach your right fingertips to the front of the room. And then come back. And you find yourself somewhere between the two. Bend a little more into that right knee. Hands to prayer position. Straighten the right leg. And you're going to trust yourself to push down into the right heel. Lift the right toes. So I'm just pushing into the right heel. Toes are lifted. And then bend your back knee and take your hands down to the floor. So some of you might be here, you're feeling that stretch through the right leg. Or you're taking it a little further into that squat position. So just depends how mobile you are in the hips, but wherever you come down, you're going to feel a stretch through that right thigh. So wherever you are is perfectly fine. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Take a breath in. And out. 2 more. Try and keep that right thigh strong. So I want you to feel like you're pulling and engaging through the right thigh. So that right leg is active and strong. Then you're going to push down into the hands. Transition to the back of your mat. So walk the hands to the left foot. Step back into your downward facing dog. So you're facing the back of the room. Your hands pushing down, your heels stretch away. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. And then come into a plank position. Take your feet off the side of your yoga mat. So they're going to go wider than your yoga mat. So it feels like a very uncomfortable plank position, but it just changes the strength challenge, changes the balance. So you can stay there if that feels like plenty. If you want more, take the hands off your yoga mat as well. So you're wider through the hands and wider through the feet. You'll notice there's more work to hold the body there. And then bring it back. Feet in, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Exhale. Try to relax the head. You don't need to look at the hands. Try not to look over to your screen for a moment. Just relax the weight of the head. We're doing exactly the same as we did on the other side. It might take you a little moment to remember, but you'll get there. Try not to look. Try and just trust yourself. Find the stretch in each pose you come to. Take the left leg up to the sky. Big breath in, reach that left heel up to the sky. So just start there, reaching the left heel high and finding the length down through the back of the right leg. So left leg lifts, right heel pushes down. Left knee comes into the chest, step that left foot forwards. And just check before you rise up that your feet aren't on a tightrope. So make sure that widthways, there's a bit of space between them. Take the arms up to the sky. If not, you make the balance very hard for yourself. Slightly soften the back knee. Make things a little easier. If you want to, close the eyes. You might wobble around a little when you do that, but that's okay. Pull the waist in. Trust the pressure and the connection down through the feet. So just like that starting seat that we took, the stronger that foundation through the seat bones or through the feet, the easier for the body to lift up. Blink of the eyes open, left arm forwards, right arm back, warrior two. So right toes turn out to the side. And then in that warrior two, just pull the waist in a little. Notice if you're sticking the hips out behind you. Lean your right fingertips back. So it's going to pull the body back whilst the legs stay in warrior two. Then you're going to lean the body forwards. Close the eyes and settle somewhere between those 2 points. Move that left knee a little bit more forward. So bend, that was awful English. Bend a little more into that left knee. Take a breath. Exhale, bring the hands to prayer, open the eyes, straighten the left leg and pull the left toes back. So you've got to really push down through the left heel. So you've got to be strong through the left heel. Look to the floor inside of the right foot, bend the right knee and take the hands down to the floor. So you might just stay here with the hips quite high, or you might be able to go lower down. If as you go lower down, that right heel lifts, don't worry about it. Your textbook, you're meant to have that right heel down, but I won't lose sleep over it, to be honest. I don't think there's a problem if you lift that right heel a little. What I do want you to do though is lift that left thigh. We don't want to just overstretch the hamstrings. I want you to engage through that left thigh. Breathe in. Breathe out one. Breathe in. Breathe out two. Inhale. Exhale, three. Transition towards the top of your yoga mat. So your hands move towards the top of the mat. And now you step the right foot back to meet the left foot. Into your downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Roll the body forwards into a plank position. And this time, bring the feet so the big toes touch one another. So you're narrower in your plank. And then if you want more, bring the hands so the thumbs and the first fingers touch. Hold it here. Pull the waist in. Keep a strong line from the shoulders to the hips, to the heels. And then rest the knees to the outside edges of your mats. Point the toes back and sit into a child's pose. So let the hips stretch back. Let the forehead come down to the mat or to the hands. And just breathe. Give the hips a rock from side to side. See if you can get comfier in that child's pose. So see if you can sink the hips back a little deeper. Breathe into the belly. Create some space. Think about that expansion around the rib cage. So not just forward and to the side, but if someone had their hands placed on your back and they were feeling for your breath, could they feel the rise and fall in the upper back? 5 more breaths in and out. Breathe in and out. Soften through the shoulders. Relax through the hands and the elbows. And then reach the hands out. Push down into the hands. Bring yourself all the way up to all fours. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up to the sky, back into downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Lengthen through the spine. Lengthen down through the backs of the legs. And that's okay if there's a softness to the knees. If there's tension through the backs of the legs, then that helps eliminate some of that tension. Then use a softness through the knees, just like we do in our lunge. From there, push into both hands. Sweep the right leg up to the sky. Lift that right heel nice and high. Reaching your right heel up as high as you can take it. And then bring the right knee into the chest and hold. So lift that right knee in as high as you possibly can. The more you can round in the upper back, the more you can pull that right knee in, the more space to then step that right foot forward. So place the right foot down to the floor and rise up into your high lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Take the right arm forwards, left arm back, warrior 2. So left toes turn out to the side of the room. Reach as wide as you can in the arms. So I want you to almost feel a pull through the shoulders as you try and touch the side of the room. And then straighten that right leg. Squeeze the left glute. So I want this left hip to feel strong. Hinge from the right hip as far as you can. We're going to stop before we come down. So just reach that right arm forwards. Find as much length as is possible. And then stretch an extra inch. Take the right hand down to the shin and reach the left arm up to the sky. Look up to the left fingertips if that's okay for the neck. If not, just relax the head. I think I've said this before, but I used to find it really hard to look up. I used to find it really stressful in my neck. So if you find it easier to just relax your neck, then do that. Don't add any unnecessary stress. Keep the legs strong. So you want to feel like you're trying to lift up through the kneecaps. Breathe in here. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Last breath. And then on 3, look down to the floor. Take the left hand down, bend the right knee. And then bend the left knee to the floor. Inhale, sweep both arms up to the sky. So you have a low lunge, left knee down, right knee bent in front of you. Hands to prayer. Bring that prayer into the center of the chest. Now, before we hook into that twist, I want you to just rotate the body over to the right side of the room. So I'm looking over to the right, elbows reaching out to either side, and then expand and open across the arms. So now my right fingertips are trying to reach to the back of the room. Left fingertips are facing forwards. Notice what happens in the hips and with the twist if you try and reach those arms wider. So particularly those left fingertips. See what happens if you reach for the front of your yoga mat or for that wall in front of you. Feel the left hip come deeper into the twist. Hands back into that prayer position. And then you can lean a little forward so the left elbow slides outside of the right knee. And we have a deeper twist. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Look up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Pull that right shoulder back. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. 2 more breaths in and out. Breathe in and out. Look down to the floor. Just place the hands inside of your right foot. Tuck the back toes. So stay looking down at the floor. Just tuck the left toes and lift that left knee off the ground. So it's quite a strong opening through the hips because it's active. That back knee is lifted. But we're keeping the gaze down to start with. If you want more of a challenge, you're going to reach the hands beyond the top of your yoga mat. So now we take some of the stability away because the shoulders aren't stacked over the wrists. There's a bit more of a challenge through the front of the body. It's just there if you want it. Breathe in. And out. You're perfectly fine to stay with the hands stacked underneath the shoulders. And then if the hands were outstretched, walk them back in. Everyone rest that back knee down to the floor. Wriggle your right foot to the side of your yoga mat. So just walk it out once or twice. And then I'm going to move this hand so you can see. Take your right hand just like you're holding a book and your thumb comes inside of the right foot. Open the book or open your foot so you can see the sole of the right foot. And then from there, you're just opening around that right hip. So my right knee moves out to the side. We've done this plenty, but I'll just twist here for anyone that's new. So I'm just opening that knee out to the side. I need more space. I can't take the camera any further back that way, unfortunately. So this will have to do. Breathe. And if you want more, that right hand can go on the inside of the right thigh. You can push that right thigh out. So now there's some distraction through that right hip as well. It can feel quite intense. So just make sure there's breath. Make sure you're not holding the breath. And then let that go. Take the right hand down. Keep the left knee on the floor. Just take the right knee back next to the left knee. So both hands, both knees. And then stretch the right leg to the back of the mat. Reach your right arm up to the sky. So variation of a side plank. My left knee is down. Sweep that right arm overhead. So I want to open and lengthen through that right side of the body. Reaching the right fingertips over. Imagine there's a heavy weight in that right hand. It's being pulled down towards the top of the yoga mat. Really lengthening and opening through that right side body. Take a big breath in. And out. Bring your right hand down to the floor. Right knee down to the floor. Tuck the toes and travel back into your downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Take a breath in and a breath out. Take a breath in and a breath out. You can stay where you are. I'm just going to turn so I can see you better. From here, sweep your left leg up to the sky. So lift that left heel high, all the way up to the ceiling. And then bring your left knee into the chest, hold it there. And then imagine there's a piece of string coming out between your shoulder blades and someone's going to lift that up towards the sky. So you arch more through the back. You can pull that knee in higher to the chest. Step the left foot forwards. Rise up, high lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out, 1. Breathe in. Breathe out, 2. Breathe in. Breathe out, 3. I didn't do this on the other side, but I just want you to think about something. Imagine you have a mirror in front of you and you can see your hips. So if I can sideways in case anyone's looking for the front. So here, if I lift my top, you can see the waistband of my trousers. Just notice if that right hip is dropping a little bit. I want you to pull that right hip up so the hips are balanced. So it's easy to let that right hip drop a little. Just make sure, like imagine if your pelvis was a bowl of water, it's not leaning over to the right side, so it's stable. Big breath in. Big breath out, warrior 2. So left arm forwards, right arm back. Open into your warrior 2. That's something I'd be able to see if we were in person, but I can't. So it's kind of worth thinking about. And you can take that across all your postures, really. Just always making sure that you're nice and level. Straighten through the left leg. We're reaching from that left hip. So just length, think length first of all. Length from the left hip, left shoulder, left fingertips, and then left hand down. Right arm up towards the sky. Legs strong. Looking up if that feels okay for your neck, but not forcing it. Take a breath. And exhale. Breathe in. And out. Just notice now if that right hip slightly started rolling forwards, just pull your right hip back a little. You'll feel the stretch get more intense through the inside of the left leg. And then look down to the ground. Take both hands down as you bend the left knee. And then move and place your right knee down to the floor. Low lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Stay there. Again, I'm just going to move so I can see you better. So reach the arms up to the sky. And then your hands come into prayer. Keep the spine tall, so keep pulling up through the crown of the head. Twist the body over to the left. So really open the chest to the left side of the room and then expand the arms out wide. Try not to lose any of that twist through the spine. Now see what happens when you reach those right fingertips forwards. Feel the right hip come into the twist. As you reach the left fingertips back, maybe you can pull that left hip back. Hands into prayer. Right elbow just places outside of the left knee. Look up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. Take a breath and rotate. Take a breath and rotate. I want that twist to come all the way down to the center of the body, not just be through the shoulders. So think about your belly button. See if you can draw the navel in as you inhale. And then as you exhale, can you lift the belly button over the left thigh? So that gives you an idea of really twisting from the center of the body. And then look down to the floor. Take those hands down inside of that left foot. Tuck your back toes. Straighten the right leg. Lift the right knee off the floor. Length through that right thigh. Extension through the right hip. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Inhale. Exhale. If you want more, you're reaching the arms out in front of you, but plenty of a stretch, staying with the hands beneath the shoulders. And with the hands reached out, the lower you go, the more challenge. But we'll all walk the hands back in. Wriggle that left foot out to the left side of your yoga mat. Take the hand, hold on to your left foot and open it up so you can see. So it's like you want to have a look underneath the foot. You're trying to see the sole of the foot. And you should feel this very unpleasant but rather beneficial stretch into the outside of the left hip. Breathe. 3 more. If you want to, the hand can push that thigh away just so you distract the hip on those last few breaths. And then slowly come back. Place your left knee back next to your right knee. And just arrange yourself so you're on all fours. Stretch the left foot to the back of the mat. Reach your left arm up to the sky. So we have a side plank variation. And then you just let that left arm sweep overhead. As it sweeps overhead, it just opens and lengthens the side of the waist. You can imagine there's a heavy weight, or someone is pulling that left hand all the way to the front of the room. Stretch through that left side body. Breathe in and out. 1 more breath. And exhale. Slowly bring the left hand down and then bring the left knee down. We'll come into a child's pose again. So take the knees out to the edge of the yoga mat. Sit the hips back in between the heels. Rest the forehead down. If you want to this time, take your hands back to the feet so the arms come round the side of the body and you're able to rest a bit more through the shoulders. I find when I have my hands overhead, I'm still tempted to reach, whereas this way there's a real release across the top of the shoulders. It's only comfortable though if your forehead comes down to the floor. So if you'd rather, you can keep the arms out in front. It's going to take a few big breaths. Opening that space between the shoulder blades. Trying to lengthen across the top of the shoulders. And we all know that's the spot where we carry tension. You know, when someone just puts their hands on and massages the very top of the shoulders, that's the area I want you to try and open. You can just imagine someone's thumbs are running across the top of your shoulders, trying to ease out and make more space. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. If your hands were down by your side, reach them out in front of you. Push into your hands, rise up to all fours, tabletop position. Pull the navel in, so find that strength through the front of the body. And then tuck the toes, lift back into downward facing dog. So stretch the heels back, lift the hips up to the sky, big breath. And exhale. Looking to the hands. Step your right foot forwards and then reach the hands a little bit further forward. So a good foot, actually, not a little bit, a good foot ahead of you. Push into the right foot, lift that left leg off the floor. So supported warrior 3, extending the chest forwards. Pushing down into that right foot, lifting the left leg high. If you're really comfortable in your warrior 3 and you want to come up unassisted, just bring the hands into the chest. You might stay there or take them out to the side of the room, aeroplane wings, or even reach them out in front of you. Strength down through that right foot. Trying to lift that right heel further back to the wall behind you. 3, 2, 1. Wherever you are, rest the hands to the floor and bring the left foot next to the right foot. So we're in a fold at the top of our yoga mat. Upper body relaxed, jaw relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Soften through the upper body. Let the belly rest on the thighs. And then roll all the way up. Slowly coming up to standing. Grip the mat with the toes as you roll up. Find that connection all the way up through the backs of the legs and the inner thighs. And then stand tall in Tadasana. Take the palms facing the front of the room, arms out to the side. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then I want you to just stand there and take a few breaths, noticing the space all the way around the rib cage. So can you move the rib cage front, back, sides? 2 more. And then open the eyes, bring the hands into prayer heart center. You're going to take a really low tree. So place the left foot just inside of the right ankle. I don't want it to go all the way up because we're going to stay really low. And then reach the arms up and out. So you have this low tree. And then you're going to try and close the eyes. Now you'll probably wobble, you'll probably fall and put that left foot down. It doesn't matter, just come back in. If you're really wobbly, take your tree even lower so the tips of the toes actually touch the floor and the left heel just rests on the inside of the right shin. And trust me, it's still a challenge to keep the eyes closed. I'd rather you have that support and you're able to close the eyes and try and find that balance. So my left toes are actually touching the floor. And my left heel is using the connection to the inside of the right leg. Take a big breath. Exhale. Try 2 more in and out. Breathe in and out. Keep the eyes closed. Place the left foot to the floor. Bring the arms down by the side. Chin into the chest. Roll the spine forwards. So like a Pilates roll down, curling through the back, pulling the waist in, finding space through the back of the body as you contract and strengthen the front of the body to help you round forwards. So the waist pulls in, the obliques pull in, and the hands come down to the floor. And now from this position, you're able to just reach the hands back out in front of you, about a foot. Sweep the right leg back behind you. So now you're balancing on the left leg. Supported warrior 3 is option 1. Same thing, just unsupported is option 2. It's up to you where you go. Both are going to improve your balance and help you strengthen through that left leg. Wherever you are, try and think about lengthening the spine and kicking that right heel to the wall behind you. Breathe. Don't hold the breath. And we all meet with both feet down to the floor, about hip width apart. Hands relax, upper body relaxes, and we curl up through the spine with the eyes closed. So feel the spine stack, one vertebrae on top of the other. Push down into the feet. Stack the crown of the head. Final piece. Arms down by the side, palms face forwards. 3 breaths. Trying to find that space around the rib cage. And then blink of the eyes open, bring the hands into prayer. Right foot this time. So if you were wobbling all over the show last time, maybe do that option where you have the right toes actually touching the floor, left heel there. Trust me, you'll still feel it. Arms up to the sky. And then we're going to try and close the eyes. And there might be a bit of movement. That's okay. It just shows that we can find challenges in even the more simple, less fancy or less dynamic of poses. Building strength around the left ankle, all the way up that left line to the knee, the hip. And also so much more neural work going on to deal with the balance, to work out where the body is in space. Place that right foot down. Let the hands come into prayer heart center. So my feet are about hip width apart. Really push your feet down, grip the mat with all 10 toes, and then spread the toes out wide. Squeeze the glutes on, lift the arms up to the sky, take a big breath. And then as you exhale, take a slight back bend. So it doesn't have to be much at all. Just glance up to the ceiling, open the chest. Feel that lift through the front of the body. And then exhale, bend the knees, forward fold, take it all the way down. Hands to the floor. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then interlace the hands. Hold the back of the head so my thumbs can almost cup on the base of the skull. You can keep the hands interlaced if that works. If not, just hold the sides of the head with the hands, because I want you to be able to kind of hold the head and pull down a little bit if it's not too uncomfortable, just to give a bit more space into the back of the neck. You might sway a little side to side as you do that. And feel that stretch, not just in the neck, but all the way up through the spine, around the hips, down the backs of the legs. And then let the hands go. From that forward fold position, just bend the knees. We're going to have a seat. Rock back. Take the legs out, just give them a little bit of a shake around. Bend the right knee. And then we're going to go, I'm going to turn so you can see me. I'm going to take that right foot out to the side so my knees come together. Now, if that's way too much for that right knee, don't go there. You just go out to the side and stay there. If that's okay, my toes are pointing back. And then all I'm going to do is take my hands behind me and kind of lean back whilst I push that right knee down. So I don't want that right knee to lift. I want to stay that right knee coming down. Just opening through the knee, a little through the hip, and then we start taking it further back. So you might come down to elbows. And you just stay wherever you are. If that was way too much to go there, just take the knee out to the side and lean back. So it's a really gentle opening through the hip. But if you're coming back, you're just going to stay trying to push that right knee down away from you and feel that stretch through the quad. So you're really going to feel it right into the thigh. Tuck the tailbone under. Notice how that helps intensify the stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out. I know it's not very relaxing through the upper body if you're on the elbows, but it is a nice way to stretch through the thigh. One more breath. Exhale. Okay, use the hands, come back up, all the way up. Take that right leg out, give it a little bit of a shake. And then either that left knee just coming out to the side, lean back, or you're pointing those left toes back. Try my best to have both seat bones on the floor. So Try not to let that left hip lift too much. Push the left knee down and lean back. You might find one side is quite a bit tighter than the other side. And then you're going to maybe come onto elbows, trying to push that left knee away. I mean, you can take it all the way down and line your back, but sometimes you get a bit stranded back there and it's hard to get up, and we're not in a classroom, so I can't come and help you. Breathe. Okay, and then slowly come up. Extend that left leg out. Give a release. If you can sit with both heels back, like it's quite awkward. I'm going to give a variation. If you can sit with the seat bones down and both feet out to the side, feel free to take a few breaths all the way back. I think it'll be too much for most people. So I'm going to say for the majority, let's come soles of the feet together and just leaning forwards. If you have that reclined hero, then you know where you're going on your own. You don't need me. It is strong, and I don't really want to try and teach it via Zoom, but if that's in your practice, then you take it away and you just stay there all the time that we're here. If you're here, you're softening that space through the shoulders, trying to relax the head. If you're close enough and you have a block, you can place the block down and rest the forehead. So you have somewhere to rest the weight of the head. I remember starting though and thinking I'd need about 10 blocks to get near my forehead. So if that's what you're also thinking, don't worry, it's just a suggestion. Recline the body forwards. You can imagine again someone just ironing out the tension through the tops of the shoulders. Breathe here. Exhale. Breathe in. And out. One more breath. Exhale. Okay, if you reclined back into hero, you're just going to wriggle your way out of it and come and lie down on your back. If you were here, start to roll the spine up. Take the hands to the outside of the thighs. Close the space between the knees. And just position yourself so you have the room to roll back. Take the arms out and roll the spine down. All the way to the floor. Hands to the ground, shoulders back, head back. So we meet all together, lying on the back, feet pushing down to the floor. Knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Push into the hands and try and anchor the shoulders down into the ground. Tilt the tailbone, roll the spine up off the floor. So start to lift the hips up, rolling the spine up, finding that space through the front of the thighs, lengthening through the hips, stretching the knees away. So make that line from the shoulders to the hips to the knees strong. Don't let it bend in the middle. You want to keep that line long. Breathe here. Exhale. Try and tuck the tailbone under and slightly pull the waist back in. So it's going to feel harder to lift up, but there's more strength and more support around the center of the body. For 3, 2, 1. Roll the spine back down, carefully, slowly, massaging the spine into the floor, taking your time, rolling it down, finally resting the hips. Bring the hands onto the belly. If it's comfortable for you to do so, just take the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. If that's too tense through the hips, stretch your legs out into Shavasana. Just lying here on our backs. If you do have the knees out to the side, I want you to try your very best to relax the knees out to the side. If you're near pillows, or for future, you can always stack something underneath the thighs so that they are held a bit more in space and you're not holding on with the inner thigh muscles. Just breathe. Big exhale. Just slowing it down. Hopefully the heart rate isn't too crazy. We've moved quite slow and steady for most of the class. So just enjoy lying here, taking a few more moments in stillness, giving yourself a few more moments before you rush off and continue on with your day. Just allow the weight of the body to sink down into the yoga mats, the same as when we started and we thought about being really heavy through the seat bones. Exactly the same principle, but we're covering even more surface area to weight the body down. And as you lie here, I want you to just think about 3 things that you're grateful for. Might be really simple. I know I don't usually get too wishy-washy, but this week I've had 2 really horrible health scare stories, really close, well, quite close to home and very close to my age. And it just makes you realize that there's so much going on out there and we're all locked in our own houses and it seems very stressful and seem really closed in, but there's always people battling more than we can even imagine. Maybe you can use that as well as a little reminder to just check in on people that might be living on their own or without work at the moment, the people that you know are struggling. Most of us, we have our families, or we certainly have this little community. Some people don't see anyone from when they leave work on Friday to when they start work on Monday morning. So just virtually sending our thoughts to those people, or however that works, we're doing that. Noticing where the body is in space. And maybe start to picture the room around you before you open your eyes. Notice the lightness. And taking the hands down to the outside of the thighs if the knees are out to the side, closing that space between the knees and pulling the knees into the chest. If that means pulling them in from a long position, then do that. Hug them in nice and close. Take a big breath in. Sigh out that exhale. One more big breath in. Sigh out the exhale. And then just make your way into your seat, however that is for you, whether you roll up or whether you rock over onto your side. Cross the legs. Sit nice and tall. Place the hands on the knees. Once more, just grounding through the seat bones. Anchoring yourself into yoga mat, into the practice. Lifting the crown of the head as tall as you possibly can. And dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Take a big breath in, reach the arms up to the sky, lift them super tall. And then bring the hands into prayer heart center. One big breath, all together, inhale. Exhale. And then bow the chin into the chest. Thank yourself for making the time to practice. Namaste. Well done, guys.